What is going on, everyone? It's DC3 Johnson here with another Madden 21 franchise mode video, guys. So in this video, we're going to go ahead and cover our matchup here, our Week 5 matchup, I believe. It's going to be against the Seattle, but definitely, if you did not see the previous part against the Panthers, I definitely urge you to check it out. It was definitely a good game. Definitely something I was very, very happy with. And this time around, it looks like Seattle has a little bit of a slow start. They have a 1-3 record at the moment. But it's still a primetime matchup for us, or for our second week in a row. And obviously for us, the Seahawks has always been a very interesting matchup. I think it's one of the matchups that I really look forward to. I know a lot of people would say maybe like Rams, Cardinals, because they're kind of close to each other in proximity. They're obviously, it's a division rivalry, but I always feel like the talent with the Seahawks is definitely something to be can be a little intimidating, but it could also be very, very you want to beat Russell Wilson. I guess that's kind of like the feeling is you want to be a guy like Russell Wilson, right? And so for us here, our opening drive, so the Seahawks strike first at 7-0. We end up giving it here to Kenyon Drake, who's going to get us into the 30-yard line. DeAndre Hopkins had a very strong game, as we saw earlier with the stats. I believe he had he had one touchdown, but I believe 170 yards received. So hopefully we can get something like that going. Obviously, the Seattle defense is a lot tougher than Carolina. Or actually vice versa, but we'll see. It could potentially go either way. It looks like Carolina lost to the Saints there based on the little scoreboard thing. So unfortunately for them, the streak continues at 27-24 for them. Bridgewater 180 yards, and a touchdown. So I guess that's probably the difference maker. And there you see last week, Kenyon Drake 2 receiving touchdowns, 90 yards. I'm not going to lie, rushing is a little bit of obviously we're a pass-first kind of team, so for us, rushing is a little bit on the lower side, but I would say 90 yards, that's pretty good. I would say anything close to 100 it's a pretty good game. And so we end up giving it here to Christian Kirk, who ends up getting us into the midfield, the 44, and we end the first quarter getting all the way to the 40 there. So starting to get close to field goal range here. And so we give it to DeAndre, who is going to get us into the red zone. And so we get to the 8-yard line, 23 yards. 23 yards, and there you see the Chargers end up winning 14-10. And so with now Kyler Murray, we run it through. So nice little fantasy points. And gets the first receiving rushing touchdown of the game. There you see the Seattle defense is coming all over us, and we end up passing it, do a lopsided pass. It ends up being intercepted, and unfortunately, Seahawks unable to capitalize on that occasion. So we give it to Kenyon. We're going to go ahead and rush. Try to kind of keep them guessing. I definitely don't want them to kind of feel like it's just going to be nothing but passes, even though that is kind of like the way we play. I'm not going to lie. But we're just going to go ahead and just see what we can do here. We've done pretty decent thus far. Now this time DeAndre's going to get a nice little run, actually a very good run, and he's going to get to the 11-yard line. There you see he ends up getting about 750 receiving yards for the season. And Tampa ends up falling to the 49ers. So remember, we got to keep an eye on all these matchups here. All these matchups, because obviously the 49ers are in our division. And the Jaguars beat the Chiefs 25-24. Wow, interesting there. And so it ends up being an interception there. It's gonna be deja vu to Carolina. He's gonna rush it all the way back. Wow. And so with that being said, Russell Wilson does not have to do any offensive work. It ends up being 14-17 with about 6 minutes left in the first half. We're going to once again throw it. This time, it should be Christian Kirk this time around. So not DeAndre. So trying to switch our receivers here. A near interception. That was kind of a tough one there. And so we have to settle for the field goal here from the 34. It's going to be tough. Oh, but I think it just went in. So we extend our lead to 6. So, oh my God. I guess actually it was a little higher. There was one that actually bounced in one of our seasons. I think it was season 1 that it ended up bouncing in. I hit the top part of the yellow to get into the in range there. And so with the 2-minute warning, we're at the Seattle 41. We rush it all the way out of bounds to try to conserve some time here. And so we get to the 29. We're going to lob it. Ooh! And DeAndre's able to secure the catch there. I thought it was close. I thought he was going to be called out of bounds, but no. He ends up putting both of his feet down. And when the celebration continues here for the Arizona Cardinals, let's just take one quick peek here. Ooh, look at that. Just able to just plant both of his feet down before absorbing the tackle. Kyler Murray already feeling that vibe, like this could be our game here. And so 27, we go to 27-17 at the end of the first half. And so right now, Murray with 60 yards. 60 yards. That's not bad. That's not bad. 60 yards for a quarterback. I think. Well, granted, I think we outdid Big Ben in Pittsburgh, right? Well, I think actually who just retired this past season in the franchise mode. Unfortunately, so I don't know. I mean, leave a comment below. Like, do you guys think Big Ben will keep playing after this season? Like, or do we think that this season might be the last one that he laces up for the Pittsburgh Steelers? And so the Jets, wow, the Jets 34-20. Okay. And then the Browns, I can see them, like with Beckham and Baker Mayfield, beating the Patriots. That's not really too surprising. The Jets, that was a little more of a surprise there. And so the Cardinals end up getting a touchdown. Right now, Wilson's he's been struggling a bit. He hasn't been able to really get much offense. It's 34-17, and we are going for it. We're going to go ahead and continue to strike. So far, we've been getting some nice receives, like nice big yards, especially from DeAndre. And so we end up giving it on this occasion to Kenyon Drake, who gets us a nice receiving touchdown. Receiving yards. Excuse me. I'm getting ahead of myself. I was saying touchdown. I'm like, we're almost there. We're not there yet. But Christian Kirk gets us to the red zone again. Nice pass from him that ends up. I guess he ends up falling, and I guess he ends up being considered down. Technically speaking, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't he have to be tackled by a receiver? So technically he could have got back up, but I don't know. Either way, it ends up being a touchdown for us. We end up giving it to Kenyon, who gets his 10th receiving touchdown this year. So right now, I think this is our 5th game. So he's averaging about 2 a game, which is actually pretty good. Murray ends up sliding into the 31-yard line, and so with the no huddle, look at that, just breaks the tackle, does a little hop to get to the 36 and ends up getting the first down here. 95 seconds in the third quarter. And so DeAndre feeling the hot hand. Look at that. Almost trying to avoid the tackle in front of 2 Seahawks. Like he was damn. And so it's a fumble, but luckily our offensive line is able to recover. And even though we are going to take the lost yardage, we'll get one more chance to get into field goal range at the minimum. And so with the clock winding down, we fake it that we're going to let the clock expire, and we lob it. And ooh, it's going to be once again DeAndre Hopkins who's going to get us into the red zone on third down. There you see the scoreboard, guys, 41-25. And we're going to go for it again. This time, Kenyon just so close. Ends up being tackled a yard short. And so we're going to go ahead and throw for the pass here. We give it to, that should be, actually, yeah, I was about to say, that should be Christian Kirk. And it is. So we end up taking a dominating lead. So now it's a 3-touchdown lead for us. Wilson able to cut it to 15 right now. So they scored a touchdown, and we're gonna keep going. We're having a really good game on offense. We're gonna keep going with this hot hand. Right now, Kyler Murray's up to 438 yards received, and we give it to Christian Kirk, who's gonna get us to about 450. There you see 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, unfortunately. So we've had a little bit of a weak side. But we finally get over. We do get a little bit of an injury, looks like. But DeAndre ends up getting the receiving touchdown. So it's number 4. And then number 5, literally really quickly on the next play, we end up barely having the ball for about a minute. And so DeAndre ends up getting about 1,000 yards. So remember, guys, earlier in this game, he was at 750. So he is just having an epic game right now. 500, 500. 250 yards minimum. It could potentially be a 300 yard game for us, and we are breaking this lead out in the open. The Seahawks have been unable to score just the one touchdown at the moment. Flags on the floor. That's going to definitely be a passer interference on the Seahawks end. So they're going to put us at the 1, guys, with about 4:20 left here. They end up getting us the sack. So the defense finally responds, and so we start from the 10, doesn't matter, we end up giving it to DeAndre Hopkins, who's going to get his 4th received touchdown of the game, and we are up to, I think, 6 passing touchdowns, and 2 receives. And so with the first reception from Mr. Daniels, who, again, as we talked about, was our backup tight end season 1 and season 2, who's been a little bit more on the quiet side, especially now that we have O'Neal as kind of like the replacement for Max Williams. Max Williams has also been a little bit quiet this game. Hopefully he doesn't feel like that cold shoulder or anything like that. Yeah, so we give it to, we get to the 4 here with about a minute and a half, and we give it to Kenyon. Kenyon is going to get the received touchdown credit, and that should be number 2, actually. So number 2 of the game, and so we're up to 19 rush touchdowns for the season. There we see it. And so we're gonna now with Kyler Murray rushing it. Ooh, almost. I think technically that doesn't count as a tackle. Because I'm trying to protect Kyler Murray at the same time. So we gotta be a little careful there. And so we get to the 41-yard line with about 30 seconds left. We're still trying to go for these pass yards records. And so we give it to DeAndre, who's gonna get us to the 28, and we're going to go ahead and go for the field goal here, just to add a little insult to injury. It ends up coming up short. It doesn't matter. Seahawks, unfortunately, are only able to score 1 touchdown in the 4th quarter, and that puts a stop and an end to their run, to whatever run they had. Josh Jones, our boy Josh Jones, and there you see the coach and Kyler Murray end up having a little embrace. 35 points in the 4th quarter, guys. That was definitely, without a doubt, a strong performance. Of 600 yards passed, almost 250 rushed. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really did enjoy making this video, guys. So, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for the next one, guys. Take care. Stay safe.